guys, I'm Bella.
I'm Laurel.
And this is the GODWINKS podcast, week 6.
Hopefully it's straighter today.
Yeah.
I tried to fix it.
And in today's podcast, we're going to be going over just something that the Lord has really been putting on our hearts and that we just feel called to kind of speak on right now. I know we have been doing questions before, and we'd still love to answer any questions that y'all have for us. We'll make a little box on our, a Q&A on our Instagram. But today we just kind of feel like we both were being led to talk about how to just make God our joy in the midst of a storm, and just how the Lord can even work in our lives, and also like what we can do when we're battling through the storm. Like, yeah, I think.
I know. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. And not only just that, but like I guess not only to have like peace in the midst of the storm, but like loving God for like who he is rather than just his blessings that he
regardless
gives us.
of our circumstance.
Yeah, exactly, because he's so good. I've been feeling that deeply this week. So I think this is
not like our joy isn't based off of like the things that are
that
going
he's giving
on.
Us
yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Or like we only have like joy in him or confidence in him when like life's going good. So like even in our rockiest moment in the deepest valley, like he is good. He's like perfected in our weakness.
Like that verse. The anchor, you don't need an anchor in shallow waters. Yeah,
exactly.
We've said that about 1,000 times on this podcast, but
it's not important to us.
It's one big circle.
Yes, exactly. So, you want to start us off with some of the things that God has revealed to you this week through that?
Well, I mean, there's some struggles happening. I mean, we won't name them all, but just family, and not only, I think it might have been, I was telling you earlier, like, I don't think it was, I don't know. It might have been The Chosen really enhancing it, like I said. And I started reading the 1-Year Plan Bible like a month ago. I guess it's a month ago today, actually. But, yeah. Thank you. But it's really, like, it's crazy how if you are so, like, you give him opportunities to speak back to you, even when you are going through, like, a storm. It's crazy that how much like he responds to you, or like how we were saying when you do tell him what you are sad about, like we were talking about before this, or like the past 2 weeks or whatever, he really does like meet you in that. And it's not only like, oh, I'm upset, so but God's
change
good.
My circumstance. It's like, no, Lord, I'm upset, meet me in my circumstance.
Yeah, and not just like, oh, well, God's good, so it's fine, but you're like actually upset.
Yeah,
but that's the best time to actually like go to him.
Yes.
And so like when I did, not that I didn't do that at first, but like when I really like told, like he knew that I was already upset about that. Exactly. And so when I finally did that, I had a whole come to Jesus moment. I was just not okay. I mean, I was fine, but like I was just like crying. Yeah. And for like literally 45 minutes, I was just like, God, I'm sad about this, and this. And then prayed over my Bible, and I opened it, and he like answered me like word for word. And it was just crazy that he was like, I see you, like I hear you, like don't worry, like, you know, it was like that. Here we go, Mike Todd. He was doing a thing on this, like he was speaking on it, and it was a picture of like a storm, but then there was a bird in the middle, and the bird was so peaceful in the middle of the storm. And I was like, why is that bird so peaceful? Because God takes care of the birds. Imagine what he would do for you.
Exactly.
You know? Exactly. So I think,
yeah, that's awesome, because it's so true like that. Like I realized it like 2 weeks ago at City Church, and this is like what sparked a whole conversation about it. The service, it was like they do this thing called Breathe, and Athens Church like does it too. It's called Peace or whatever. And the questions that they ask, they kind of like preach for a minute and then give you time to just be still in God's presence and like go to him. And it was, what are you sad about? And like at first you just answered that, and it was crazy because it was speaking into like so many of my friends' circumstances at the time too. And it was just like, dang, God really is like listening to us right now when we need this. And I didn't even realize that I was like sad until I like started writing, because even with like just grieving different things, like moving home in a different way, like I'm happy to be here, but it's also weird to like let go of a different past season, like know that chapter's closed. And then like different things with home, like family stuff, and then my grandfather passing away, and I've just like handled my emotions so oddly. I've just been like, okay, I'm gonna be positive, because I know in the end like it'll be okay anyway, and it's already in God's hands, so like I'll just push through and like it'll be fine. But it's like, it is in God's hands, but I also have to like give it to him, and
for him to do something with it.
And like Christian, my brother, was going through something this past week, and I just realized, like, you know, it's easy to say something to like someone else, but it's harder to like apply it to yourself. And it was when Lazarus passed away, and Jesus, like, the people came and said, like, your friend Lazarus is dying, and he didn't rush, like, he didn't drop what he was doing or whatever to like go. He was patient and like took his time. Then when he got there, Mary and Martha like came running towards him. They're like, Lord, like, he's dead. If only you would have been here. But also, like, we know anything is possible with you. And God knew, like, 2 minutes later, or however long, that he was going to raise his friend from the dead. Like, he knew he had that power, and he could have easily been like, y'all, it's fine, like, you know who I am, you know I can work miracles, like, let's go. But he didn't. Like, because they were so upset and in their grief, he stopped, and it's the shortest verse in the Bible, is Jesus wept, and like he cried with them. And I was just like, dang, he wants to be there like with us in that moment. But so often I'm just like, God, like, I'll be positive, I'll be happy, like, it's okay, yes, like, I can be joyful in the midst of a storm. But like, joy has balances too, you know. And it's like, I can be joyful in who the Lord is in the midst of my storm. It's not like me, I don't have to force positivity to be joyful. Like, joy isn't, happiness and joy are different.
Yeah, something bad is happening like in your life doesn't like lessen God's goodness.
Exactly.
You know,
like, our joy isn't based off what our circumstances are. Our joy is based off of who God is in the midst of any circumstance. Like, we've been talking about the names of God, and like, he is Prince of Peace, like, he is Waymaker, he is a miracle worker, he is
Keeper, light in the dark.
Wonderful Counselor. And like, all of those things are not needed when just everything's happy, you know, or like when everything's good. It's like, you need a counselor when you're going through something. You need a maker just of peace when it's unpeaceful.
When in The Chosen, when Jesus was talking to, what's his name?
Oh, Nicodemus.
Yes.
Sorry.
I forgot his name. But when he was talking to him on the rooftop, because Nicodemus was like, what the heck? Like, what is this, bro? Well, how come you do this and you do that? And he was like, because you know, healthy people don't need a doctor like the sick people do, you know? And so, like, if you're, you know, sick, meaning, like, you know, upset,
going through anything,
that's when you need a good counselor.
Yeah,
you know?
the Lord the most.
Exactly.
Like, it's just crazy, because we're never, like, life with God is never going to be without trials or without errors or without like rivers and valleys. Like, we're on this earth, and this earth isn't heaven. And
that's the thing that people will be like, and I've said this 1,000 times too, but it's also like, people are like, why is all this happening at the same time? But it's like, God didn't do those things. You realize we have an enemy that's attacking us.
We have free will too.
We have complete free will. And so if you don't have God talking to you in your mind, it's like, you're not going to have any sorts of guidance except your own and what Satan's telling you, you know? And like we always say,
like, God gave us the Bible. Is that what you're saying?
God gives us the Bible.
So, like, literally,
tells us what not to do.
Yeah, when people are like, oh, well, why is the world like this, or why is all this happening? If we were just made...
If God was real.
Yeah, if we were forced to love God, there would be no real relationship, and we wouldn't want that anyway.
He said, just like Mike Todd said, he doesn't want to be worshipped by robots.
Exactly. And it's like, so we have free will, and then we don't do what the Bible says. We make decisions contrary or whatever, and then we get mad at God for the outcomes that he tried to prevent from happening. And it's like with anything, like a good father or a mother, whatever kind of figure you have in your life, like, they give you rules and boundaries or anything, like encouragement, just to, they're not going to force you.
They love you.
Yes. And God created the relationship with the family to literally resemble his love for us. Like, he will give us all those things, but it's our choice if we follow them or not. And when we do, just like with a parent, you might have a consequence for that, and not like God is making that consequence happen. It's just the world's outcome, like the way that those things
what you
fall.
Honestly,
we
get
caused
for
it.
Doing it, and not like it's in like that's what you get.
No, like God didn't make that happen. We made it happen.
Exactly, like you did it, and you. That's why he said not to, and that's what people get so mad about. You know,
like all of us talking about this. This is just like random, but it like kind of just came up in my head. It's like, dang, that's like a real consequence of whatever. So her teacher was talking about this story where like this kid at Harrison was in our grade. He broke both his legs. Do you remember that? And he was
Oh
in
my
a wheelchair.
gosh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I have a picture of that on my memories.
And what happened was he snuck out of his window and jumped off the roof and ended up hurting both of his legs because he didn't listen to what his parents had said. But then he had to face them later. His parents didn't make his legs break.
In the moment, he was like, yeah,
like his parents didn't make, like, they set that boundary for him, like, not to jump out a window or not sneak out or whatever, so he wouldn't get hurt. But he did what he wanted, and then he got hurt. It wasn't his parents making it happen or God making it happen. It's just that's
the thing.
How the world works.
Yeah, what he wanted.
Every action has a reaction.
We all want things, but like God literally gives us those things, but like we are so in a rush to get them that, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Like, we don't even know, like, we're so, especially in this world right now, so instantaneous and so based off of like the here, the now, exactly what I can have that will fulfill me this minute. And it's like it was actually funny because I had a social media speech for my public speaking, and I talked about that, like, our world, because people always say, oh, what was life like before social media? And it was like one of the most top search questions and stuff. And we can easily find that out. Like, it was not long ago. And if we want to know so bad, we can literally remove social media. Like, it's in our hands. We don't have to be on it.
Right.
And one of the things that people said that, like, has really changed is the level of patience, because it's so instantaneous. Even apps, like, you can immediately order whatever you want to your house. You can immediately get this and it'll be here tomorrow. Or you can look this up and you'll have an answer right now. But then it's also like, our inner craving for more and more and more and more is not stopping.
Can only be fulfilled if you...
Like, in the elimination of hurry, sorry, I know I'm like talking so much, I just like this is on flowing through my mind. And the elimination of hurry, he talks about how like time and all these other inventions were meant to give us more free time, like do things more efficiently, so then we could have like more just time. But it's actually been the opposite, because now as humans we've realized, oh, we can do even more in our time. So instead of the workday being shortened by how much we can do in a day, we've added more to our plate so we can just do more and make more money and just continue.
Yes, that's the other problem. Like, people, like, and I know this is like kind of deep, but it's so true. Like, if you really think about it, like, people are gonna be like, oh my god, she literally is by the book. But yeah, because God gives
book
me
of truth, book of life.
Exactly. Like, but that's the other problem. Like, people are so like, I need this, like this day, this day. But it's like, God made this entire earth, and then on that day he rested.
Exactly.
So like, he like wants you to take a breather. Like, hold on, let's rest. And the only thing that you're supposed to do on this day is prepare food.
Exactly.
You know, like, let's chill for a minute. You know, reset our mind. You know, go slow. Like, do it in my terms, because it's going to happen. You just have to trust me with that. And people are so like, you can't see it, so they are so like worried that that God's not going to give that to them, that they're just like doing it on their own terms and not God's, and that's why it doesn't work out. You just got to slow down for a minute.
Just constantly craving.
Exactly.
Like, even when Jesus was on this earth, he would,
I'm so jealous of the people.
His ministry was only 3 years. So even within those 3 years, he would do something and then he would go and be alone with God. You go
after everything he did.
Yes, like, be still with the Lord. And then he even, like, before his ministry started, he took 40 days to just fast and like be with the Lord in his presence. And if Jesus himself needed that time, imagine how much more we need it. Because like, and even the disciples are like, what is he doing? Why is he? We've been watching The Chosen. I know we've mentioned it so much, but like, 12.
We met Eden, sorry.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about it at the end of what I was going to say. Like 1,200 out of 10 recommendation. It was so good. But at the end of it, or not at the end of it, sorry, I'm like losing track.
I do it constantly.
In the show, which it's just the Bible story is brought to life, he is like talking to some of the disciples, and they're also like talking amongst themselves, like, yo, what is Jesus doing? He's going off by himself.
This is weird sometimes.
Yeah, and they're like, this isn't safe. He's like wanted. Like, what is going on? Like, what is his mind? And he says, like, I have to hear from the Father alone. Like, I have to be with him in order to hear those things. And he even tells them, which I have the bracelet on for it, like, if it's all about us being comfortable and like if what we've done hasn't worked, if we continue just doing what we're doing, nothing's going to change. And when we sorry.
No, you go, you're fine.
We have to expect things to be different. So we have to get used to different in order for that to change. So if our constant is just the level of impatience that is like hard, try being just alone with him. And even in this storm, you have to find that like peace level of just like surrendering and being still with him, because we can worry about it. And that's another thing with worry is like the impatience, you know, like we just have to keep doing it. And it's like we can worry all we want, but it's not going to change the outcome.
Yeah. And Justin Bieber had said on his one of his posts, and I was like, dang, like I knew that, but like in the way that he said it, it was like true. He said like if we're so anxious or whatever on the inside of us, and if we aren't finding the answer on the inside of us, then you know what I mean?
Why not give it to someone else?
Yeah. This is what he said. I didn't say it right, but you got the gist. But he said, if the problem is within yourself, how can the answer be within yourself? Look to the designer of the ages that knows you better than you know yourself, the one who paints the sunsets with it, and he goes on. But true.
Exactly.
Like you can't, if you are like, you know, like it just makes
sense. Like we clearly aren't able to figure out what we're doing. So we have to go to the creator for it. And like, that's the Lord.
And that's what I like was saying. Like I've done that, but like in the depths that I've been doing it this past month, it's such a big change. Like I've always done it, but in the way that it's like every single thing, like how Mike Todd was saying in his video, he said like you going without prayer about anything before you do anything is saying, God, I don't need you there, you know? But it's like, even before I drive on the road now, I'm like today, like I was just like, God, be with me while I drive. Love you so much. Keep me safe. Amen. Like quick prayer, you know, with anything.
Yeah.
And I had the best car ride, just crying, like just, you know, worship music on. It was great. Like just, if you just invite him in and just, you know, give thanks to him, not only for what he's done, but for who he is, then
exactly
it makes such a big change. And just because our struggles are, you know, like I don't want people to think that if you become a Christian, you're not going to have struggles. I know we've said that before too. But it gets worse because the people of the world are going to hate you, and Satan's going to hate you even more than he already does. You know what I mean?
And it doesn't just happen all at once. Like, it's not like you hand over your life to the Lord and then it's like all these people are coming after you and everything's changing. It's like all a process of like personal conviction and growing in like what the Lord is teaching you personally, because it's like a real relationship, you know?
Yeah, I've been in my faith now for two years, right? Almost. And I thought I was close to God then, and I was, and he was close to me. But the amount that I am today is so great.
It just is ever growing.
Exactly, that's what I was trying to say. Like it's not just like he keeps taking things but replacing them with things that are so much more fulfilling.
And you just have to like have the fruits to like be
like,
patient.
I swear to you, like I
have self-control to not just take it into your own hands.
It's a bad world.
It's not heaven, and that's what like people
get
and
confused
like and also like I don't know. God not existing doesn't make any trouble go away. It just makes the factor of hope away, you know? What was that said it? I don't know, it was something. But like when I heard that, I was just like, dang, I wish that all the hurt people, like, God's not the one that hurt you. It was someone that was a representation of God in your life. Maybe it was someone that was really involved in the church or claimed to be like an adamant follower of Jesus. We all are going to fall short of the glory of God. Yeah, and like I'm so sorry if that's you, that like someone damaged that relationship that like you had with God, but that you could have had. You still can, and that was not God. That was the enemy using someone or using a circumstance,
switching up, making it look like God did that.
Yes, like Christine Kane, I was listening to her service today. I'll link whatever it was in the bio of it because it was really good. And she was saying that like we can tie that back to like those things have been said, but they were also trying to knock us off our path. Like the devil is always going to try and shame you or bring you guilt in the area of your life where God is trying to use you. Like her example was that a teacher of hers had said like, she needs to stop being a leader with everything. Like, she needs to chill out. So she told herself that day that she would never volunteer to lead in anything again. That person shamed her out of even having that belief in herself. And it took her years to find that again, but she could have easily used that as like, see, God does not want me to be here. God does not want that. But that was not the voice of God in her life.
If it's not encouraging and it's not, you know, if it's demeaning towards you, that's not from.
Yes. And like, she went through each thing in her life, that all these different things, and just backed it up with scripture. And she said, like, if you were once told that you were not wanted, if you were once told that you were unloved, if you were once told that you are unworthy, that you are never redeemable, if you were told that your life should end or anything like that, you can find a verse in the Bible from Jesus himself saying to contradict each of one of those things. And that is the truth. And
that's all Jesus did at Satan too.
He
answered him with scripture.
And we're all used as like the enemy in someone's life, sadly. Like, we can all be used as light. Yeah, exactly. But we can also be used as that. So just like, I encourage whoever, I'm sorry, like, I just feel like I need to say this right now. If like if that's your story, is that like you had a run-in with a bad Christian or bad representation of a Christian or anything like that, where you've just lost your faith in God, God's waiting there with you for open arms and wants you to know that his relationship with you is so personal that no other individual could ever damage it when you really know him. And sorry, that was like a lot, but it was just, I felt like I needed to say it.
Whatever, I don't care. Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Right, well,
we're so very thankful.
We are, and we will be doing a Christmas giveaway. We just haven't gotten around to it yet.
We'll probably post it this week.
Yeah,
I think
we do
stuff for it.
Yeah, so be looking out for that. And
yes.
We will be in Colorado, but we will be filming it like beforehand, so we will have something to be posting next week as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and we'll post a Q&A box on our Instagram, and just let us know too if there's anything that we can be praying for you in this time. And we love you so much and hope you're having a great December.
Watching.
Yes, couldn't do it without you. Bye.